Hope no one forgot about Marvel's Midnight Suns already. It's released on the same day as Need for Speed Unbound and the Callisto Protocol for all new-gen consoles, Nintendo Switch and Steam included. So there is no excuse not to play it. Besides that, if you're into Marvel superhero games or tactical strategy like XCOM, this might be your game after all. Marvel's Midnight Suns is just a solid game in terms of both being a Marvel superhero game and also in terms of tactical strategy game with card-based combat. Its base gameplay and its formula works perfectly, and its only flaws are some gameplay bugs and glitches, and some mediocre design choice for some characters or just boring dialogues that can either bore you to death or just make you cringe a bit, but that's it. I've been playing Marvel's Midnight Suns for over 30 hours already, doing every side content to get better cards, making all upgrades within the base, becoming best friends with different Marvel characters. To put it simply, I'm having fun and not feeling bored at all due to different playable characters of Midnight Suns. It's one of the best games of 2022, it's definitely not a game of the year potential, and I know it's even late for that, but it's solid, decent, fun and must play for XCOM fans and comic nerds.
Aren't you gonna follow him?
Nah, he may not have been listening. But I am. Keep talking, kid.
Hydra of the Marvel Universe is up to no good again, and Marvel's Midnight Suns focuses on the revival of Lilith, corrupting both heroes and villains alike, recruiting more and more to her own armies of demonic legion. To stop Lilith, the mother of demons, the Midnight Suns also revived the Hunter, the so-called canonically daughter of Lilith, to fight against this corruption. The Midnight Suns consist of Daywalker Vampire Blade, Nico of the Runaways, Magic from X-Men and the new Ghost Rider Robbie Reyes. Each character has different playstyles and cards with attributes, like Blade is mostly focused on bleed effects and chain attacks, Nico depends on your luck to deal more damage, inflict debuffs or do more heals, Magic can let you open a portal and then teleport any enemy causing knockback and even reorganizing the field, and Ghost Rider can deal enormous damage with his special attacks, opening a hole to hell itself, lifesteal, etc. Starting with Hydra and the fight against the Fallen Venom, starting with Sorcerer Supreme, Doctor Strange, Captain Marvel, Iron Man, Spider-Man quickly joins your team, and the Midnight Suns becomes a varied team of Avengers, X-Men and Midnight Suns fighting side by side. However, putting all these superheroes together can quickly cause big problems like civil war as seen by the comics, and the main customized character Hunter is here to lead them. Your own choices, actions and who you take to missions can affect your friendship levels, your alignment, but the story progress remains the same. Starting with the Fallen Venom, Lilith's influence grows to Hydra soldiers, Bruce Banner himself, Sabretooth and also to Scarlet Witch. These characters can also become an obstacle to your main goals and also disturb your teammates, breaking their morale and causing concern. I wouldn't call Marvel's Midnight Suns a RPG, but it sure does have some RPG elements. At least similar to Dragon Age Inquisition, I would say. Hanging out with your friends during the night, talking with them, gifting them items will increase your friendship level, which will then let you unlock passive abilities of those characters and also to achieve rare and epic cards that would help you on your journey. Well, you can also find these characters' interactions similar to the Mass Effect series, but there is no romance among the characters nor BioWare-like deep conversations or choices that would affect your progress, but rather like a side aspect to it, let's just say. But I liked it. It added some flavor and more reason and motivation to play with different characters throughout my 35 hours of gameplay time. If you only focus on the main story and don't care about the friendship level or the upgrades whatsoever, the whole story can take up to 20 to 30 hours, but I'm sure you will have problems by some boss fights or an encounter, since you need to upgrade different cards and level up heroes that would be necessary in the future. I would also advise you to read the Midnight Suns comic that started to release in September of 2022 if you feel somewhat unfamiliar with these characters. If you have no interest towards the Marvel Universe or the comics, well, then Marvel Midnight Suns probably won't appeal you at all, since XCOM or similar games like that have more tactical gameplay or depth to it, though this doesn't mean that Midnight Suns is a shallow game at all.
Online video game tournament, and I was kinda wondering, will you be my player too?
Of course I will be your player too, Robbie, and slay digital demons by your side.
You can deploy 3 different characters to each mission, take several supportive items that can heal one character, grant you additional cards, or that will let you taunt an enemy with a hero. I think I would still prefer to go to mission with 4 different heroes, since you will definitely need the hunter in each main and also in side missions due to its healing abilities, and unfortunately you will need the hunter. There is no other healer hero within the game, which is a bit weird in my opinion. Nico does have some healing abilities, but I wouldn't call her a healer, but she's rather like a buffer, debuffer kind of support character, and also does some range DPS with her cards. Besides that, for the 2 remaining slots, Wolverine is a must if you want to clear your missions quickly. He has chain attacks that will let you attack multiple targets, and he can also activate his lifesteal to quickly heal himself. And as for the third, Magic, Spider-Man, Captain America, Scarlet Witch might be a really good choice if you just want to clear the missions without any difficulties. There are no party or faction synergies like in Marvel Ultimate Alliance series, so there is no need to make like a Avenger team or Mutants Assemble kind of builds. Lack of such feature never bugged me at all, but it could have added an additional flavor to gameplay variety nonetheless. Needless to say, all characters are fun to play and have their own playstyles that would keep Marvel's Midnight Suns fresh even after playing over 30 hours. It's not just ordinary XCOM experience where you upgrade your gears, form your team and find the cover and then try to hit nasty aliens with low percentage of hit rate, but it's rather about organizing your cards, when to attack and when to use environment to deal extra damage in most of times. It might not feel as a hardcore strategy game, but players can adjust the difficulty of the missions to earn more rewards, resources and experience points however they wish to. By each turn you will have 3 play card turns that will let you use 3 different hero cards to use either attack, heal and whatsoever, and by doing these you can also gather heroism points that will let you to use stronger moves. These heroism points can also be used for environmental attacks like throwing rocks, hitting with a giant ass metal beam. It totally depends on the map and the environment you're in. Besides these play cards and heroism points, you can redraw up to 2 cards, move your character to another spot once, and can also use up to 2 different items within a turn to place your heroes in a better spot, push your enemies into tight corners to keep your heroes safe and alive. You can revive twice in one mission, though your downed heroes can also receive an injury debuff that will only be healed after 2 in-game days or in 1 day if you also have like a healing facility within your base. You might now understand why keeping the hunter in your party at all times is such a good idea, since it's the only one keeping your heroes alive and away from receiving this injured debuff. I know it sounds a bit lame to keep the same hero in your party at all times, but there is no other choice. I thought that Scarlet Witch could have been a healer, but no. Either you gotta grind some materials in your base and then craft some healing potions, or keep the hunter in your party at all times, and if you're planning to play above normal difficulty, then the hunter is a must. There is sadly no other choice. And if I were to go back to character interactions, their dialogues and the overall role-playing elements, I'm quite satisfied, and the only things that I didn't like was Doctor Strange's early game dialogues that felt quite forced and cringe, Peter Parker and Tony Stark's overall character design, which seems like as they joined from the latest shitty Grand Theft Auto Definitive Edition or like from Fortnite, and I think that's it. Your choices and also your friendship levels can lead you to good outcomes, and as an example, I can mention you guys about Magic's birthday party. Since Uncanny X-Men, I just love Magic, and her attitude in Marvel's Midnight Suns is just priceless. She's angry, she has trust issues but loyal, strong companion. Just your ordinary fun Russian friend. And as you might guess, Magic hates surprises and birthday parties. She runs off and it's up to us to get her back if your friendship is high enough, and if she trusts you, she declares you that she is your friend from now on. I'm sure if this game was a BioWare title, there will be some sexy time during Magic's birthday sequence, but there is none. I'm sure most of you are just sad hearing this. Nonetheless, the struggles between X-Men, Midnight Suns and Avengers are quite charming in more casual way than most Marvel comic series, so don't expect any dark concept other than Lilith and her fallen champions. And maybe as a side note, I didn't like the voice actor of female Hunter at all. It just feels so soulless and bland, as if the hunter just wants to deal with this shit and wants to go back to her coffin ASAP. It is not a big deal breaker, but it's still not good, and I would advise you to think twice before making the hunter into a female one. I did it due to its being a canon choice, but I'm low-key regretting it. Marvel's Midnight Suns is a solid tactical strategy superhero game that every Marvel fan should at least try out, and it's a recommendation for any XCOM fans. It's not shallow at all, it's not just casual XCOM experience, but it has its own friendship mechanics, card-based combat, challenges that would push you. It's just good, memorable experience that can deserve your money, time and attention. I never tried this Nintendo Switch version, but I am bit sure that it will at least either have low FPS or low resolution, so be sure to check its performance before buying it. I'm always up to such new superhero games, and I hope the developers of XCOM continue to adapt such concepts into their own system and bring more experiences in the future, like Lord of the Rings or Star Wars for example. Marvel's Midnight Suns is definitely a must-play game of 2022 that shouldn't be forgotten.